and I'm sure he makes one of the oldest that have pulled through out of this virus, and I think I'm sure he makes the nation is quite relieved, and we quite appreciate that he has been able to pull through. Without any further ado, today we've got 3 items. The first one is the one that is Mintek. Then it will be the 2 reports, Lilly Mine and Optimum. Thirdly, it will be the revised program as directed by the House Chair on behalf of Parliament. I don't think we'll be able to deal with the minutes, but it is my considered view that at some point, so that we don't have a huge task of minutes, that we might have to convene a full committee meeting just to consider minutes. We will have to attend the minutes in one way or the other, and members must be ready to do so, but I don't think we will be able to do so today. But having said so, honorable members, can I get any apologies?
Good morning, Chair and our guest. I've got apology from Mr. Ngumalo and Ms. Mkweba. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable members, having said so, can I give to the minister with regards to the presentation by Mintek? I'm sure it's up to you, Minister, and your team. When after that, you will be excused, because it's only going to be the deliberations of the matters that relate to the committee in terms of the reports that it needs to combine to deal with, as well as its program. So you'll have a shorter day today to be here. Let me give over to you, Honorable Minister.
Hey, lento yakho sicela uyapha eParliament physical thina lento yala machine airspeed. Thank you, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, members of the Portfolio Committee of Mineral Resources and Energy. Last time I forgot to introduce people. I will not forget today. I was given a rough warning about that. The chairperson of Mintek is new from the box, is Dr. Vengad Mkosana. Dr. Mkosana is from a big city and a suburb of Mngoni. He is the new chairperson of Mintek. He's joining a very eminent team led by Dr. Mtuku. He's having a big team there. But what we're going to do today is to talk to the Portfolio Committee about what interventions were made by Mintek in respect of COVID-19. And you will see that Mintek is a science institution, quite important science institution. You will see again an issue that we're discussing with them, that the only thing that is still a problem is inability to produce make mass production of products, because profitability is a function of volumes. Volumes determine profitability, they determine the price, and they determine mass quality when they are tested properly. Now, when we can't produce in volumes, we'll make good products, but will not make profit, will not be able to reduce the price. That is something that we're working on with Mintek. We have a serious discussion about Mintek having a marketing section where it markets its products so that it researches and it markets them. But let me leave it at that and allow the team to deliver the presentation to the committee. Do I go through, DG?
No, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. As you have directed us, Honorable Minister, the CEO, together with his executive, they will take the PPC through the presentation. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and the Chairperson and members of the PPC and the Chairperson. Thank you.
Well, Honorable Chair, Honorable members of the committee, Honorable Minister, as the Minister has already indicated that the chair is the new face, I'm happy to be here. Thank you, DG. I just want to, before I hand over to the CEO, who will be leading this presentation, indicate that when COVID-19 was declared pandemic, Mintek moved in speed, and we looked around, and there was no point of reference. There is no experience that we could refer to. The last we could see or hear about was 1347, when Black Death attacked Europe. That wiped half the population of Europe. But it also occasioned two important events. It negated feudalism, it ushered in capitalism. We said, let's do something and do it quickly. And what we are going to present to you talks specifically to the interventions that Mintek embarked upon. Our presentation is going to cover Mintek's response to COVID-19. That will talk to production of sanitizers. That will cover development of COVID-19 rapid test kits. It will also cover development of antigens and antibodies. And I'm going to allow Dr. Mutuku to take us through this presentation. And then when there are interventions, then we will be engaged. Thank you very much, Chair. Dr. Mutuku, could you please take us through?
Thank you, Chair Dr. Mkosana, the Chair of the Portfolio Committee, honorable committee members, our Minister, the DG of the department, officials of the department, Mintek executive team, and all in attendance. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Our presentation is very brief, talking to three aspects. Can you see the screen? We are sharing the screen now. Can you see the screen?
On my side, it is showing.
It's showing.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Our presentation will focus on 3 items. The first one is to give progress updates on the production of sanitizers. Second one is the development of COVID-19 test kits. And the most important, all of them are important, but the production of antigens and antibodies, which are really active ingredients that we use in test kits, as well as in other applications. Firstly, this is what we shared with the portfolio committee earlier on, that the Mintek repurposed some of its programs and facilities to contribute to the national COVID-19 response. To that effect, we developed capacity to produce about 4,000 liters of hand sanitizers as well as surface sanitizers per week. Where we are now, as the minister indicated, we are busy with massification of production to commercially supply to the market. Secondly, we redirected our point of care diagnostic research program, which is a huge program, to develop test kits specifically for COVID-19. Thirdly, we developed from scratch capacity to produce antigens and antibodies. I must emphasize that there is a need in the country to build capacity to produce locally. And we believe these efforts will contribute to stimulating the economy as well as creating jobs. On sanitizers, just roughly statistic, the health sector uses in excess of 100,000 liters per day of sanitizers. However, we have noted with concern the quality of sanitizers available in the market. If you just look at sanitizers that uses ethanol, the World Health Organization recommends that you should have at least 70% alcohol content. And we have seen in the market that most of the sanitizers do not have the required 70% content. Actually, you can even smell them. You don't even smell the alcohol. There are issues with quality of sanitizers available in the market. This is where Mintek comes in, that we produce World Health Organization compliant sanitizers. Our sanitizers contain a minimum of 70% ethanol. Now, the minister indicated that we need capacity to supply the market. We're at a point where we are installing a semi-automated manufacturing and bottling facility at Mintek. I'll talk to that later on. Where we are now, we have produced in excess of 10,000 liters of our different products. We formulated hand sanitizers, surface sanitizers, and hand sanitizers in the form of a gel. I think many people have never seen surface sanitizers in the market. It's something that is not spoken about. But you need a specific formulation for surface sanitizers. This is where you clean your tabletops, you clean all surfaces. So Mintek has a specific product to sanitize surfaces. These are all manufactured, bottled at Mintek at lower quantities. Where we need to supply larger quantities, we've partnered with Ascendis Health. They have a commercial bottling facility, and they are bottling for Mintek at no cost to Mintek. The arrangement is, you'll see in our products, we do indicate that it is bottled by Ascendis Health. That's the only contribution. It is marketing, but it's a good partnership for us. We will have our fully automated manufacturing and bottling facility by early October 2020. Just to indicate our product range, the small one, 100 milliliter, we produce a gel, hand sanitizer gel. This particular product is unique and important in a sense that in very flammable environment, like underground, you can use this gel. It's very safe. The second one is our 500 milliliter hand sanitizer, surface sanitizer, 1 liter, 5 liter, as well as 25 liter bottles. And you can see on the right-hand side, so far we have produced more than 9,000 liters of hand sanitizers, surface sanitizers, more than 1,500, and gel hand sanitizer, 380 liters. Quickly now, the current operation at Mintek is highly manual. You see colleagues there manually labeling the bottles, manually filling the bottles, as well as screwing in caps. On the right-hand side, you can see the volume of bottles that have to be manually filled, labeled, as well as screwing the caps. This has serious implications in terms of a production rate, in terms of the quality of our products, consistency in filling the bottles, labeling accuracy, and it talks to the point the minister raised, high unit cost. And this will affect our market penetration and competitiveness. Now, this facility, it was repurposed. It will be difficult to have accreditation from South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, and it will make it difficult for us to be compliant to the generally manufacturing practices. We are working on that. Our dedicated facility will be able to get accreditation and to be compliant. The manual operation severely restricts our market penetration. This you can see final products, manufactured products from our facility here at Mintek. Thanks to the minister, to the department, they've been very, very supportive to our program. They have placed huge orders with us. Wherever the minister has an opportunity to profile our products as indicated in the picture there, he has done that. Also wearing our shield, and you can see our hand sanitizer they've been profiled. This is the bottling facility at Asande's Health, where we do commercial bottling with them at no cost to Mintek. Also, I need to acknowledge the support from Petro SA. They supplied ethanol to Mintek. We did buy it. Of course, we negotiated the price with them. We have already, you can see, storage facility there. We can store up to, 40,000 liters of ethanol. We purchased 35,000 liters of ethanol from Petro SA. And we will continue with that partnership with Petro SA. So what is our plan in terms of massification? We are busy. We have already ordered equipment to manufacture, to label, to bottle, so that we can meet the requirements in terms of accreditation and compliance. The health field, it is highly regulated. And to penetrate the market, all these elements have to be in place. Regulatory compliance is a necessity. We have already identified a location at Mintek. We are just showing in the picture there, where the building has already been prepared and ready to accommodate the new manufacturing and bottling plant. where we're going to be having a filling machine, capping machine, labeling machine, as well as a dedicated area to store bulk ethanol. It is important for us to do that. And the place is a little bit far removed from our day-to-day laboratory activities. These are some of the equipment that are currently being manufactured that will be commissioned at Mintek by the end of September. In a nutshell, on the production of sanitizers, Mintek will have fully commercial scale production facility on sanitizers by the 8th of October 2020. This is just to indicate the steps that we have taken so far. On the development of rapid test kits, we are developing two types of test kits. One is what we call antibody test kits. This is where we detect SARS-CoV-2 antibodies. This is where an individual, a person has been infected with COVID-19 and the body's response, the body produces antibodies.
And that means the course at a particular level of complexity according to the NKF standards, and that would require assessment.
Who's that now? Can you please
I have not.
It's
Sorry,
Honorable
Chair,
Gula.
it's Mr. Gula. I just muted him.
Honorable Gula.
You're only doing.
Continue talk.
He is out of order.
The second test kit is what we call antigen test. This particular one detects part of the virus. And this one, you just take a swab, either nasal swab or oral swab. In both cases, the results are available in 15 minutes. This will be a game changer in terms of testing protocol. Where are we in terms of rapid test kit development? Everything on the left of the red arrow has been done. We do have a working prototype of a test kit. That test kit now, we're submitting it externally for clinical evaluations. This is where we are, external evaluations. And what is remaining, if everything goes well, is registering the test kits with SAPRA, then start manufacturing, sales, and distribution. Timelines, by September, October, right now, test kits will be undergoing external evaluations. We're very confident that our test kits are working. Then around November, we'll do registration with South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, and I must indicate that they are part of this process. They are working very closely with us. Around December, we'll be manufacturing and supplying around December, early January 2021. Highlights. The facility to manufacture test kits. We received ISO 13485 certification in June this year. It was a lengthy process that took us about 2 to 3 years, and we're happy that finally we received. It's a necessary certificate. You will not be able to supply diagnostic test kits to the market without this ISO certification. What it means is that Mintek's quality management system is deemed safe and effective for manufacturing of medical devices. I must indicate that the current facility at Mintek can produce up to 25 million test kits per year, which is it will be a major contribution to the health programs. In addition to ISO certification, we have a license from SAPRA to manufacture HIV malaria test kits. We are then applying to SAPRA for the manufacturing of COVID-19 test kits. Each product, you need a license to manufacture from SAPRA. We are working very closely with SAPRA. In addition, around May this year, we received funding from Medical Research Council, Technology Innovation Agency, and Department of Science and Innovation to further bolster our development on test kits. In addition to test kits, we have in-house capacity competency to test for COVID-19, as well as to screen. So far, we've tested our own employees 1,300 to date. Chair might want to say a word or two, because the chair went through our own internal testing program, the chair of the Mintek board and some other board members, as well as our own screening program. To date, we have performed more than 27,000 screens here at Mintek. I have tested more than 4 times myself at Mintek, and I must indicate that our test results, they've been confirmed with external results. We do 2 tests. One, we do it internally, and we take the same swabs to Lancet, and we've been on par. And sometimes we have noted that our test protocol is highly sensitive and performing extremely well, even compared to commercially available testing in other laboratories. This one is hot from the press. Yesterday, late afternoon, or yesterday during the day, we received the actual certificate, ISO 13485 certificate, and I'm showing it there because we've been talking a lot about this certificate. Finally, it has arrived. Mintek is ready to manufacture and supply test kits. And I've also shown the team that is behind the development of the test kits, led by our own and only Dr. Amanda Skepu, the one with a big hair. Here on the program also, we're collaborating on product development with UNISA. Our samples, clinical samples supplied by South African National Blood Service, also funding from Medical Research Council, Mintek, the department, our own Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, Science and Innovation and Technology Innovation Agency. We're working very closely with SAPRA for external evaluations, as well as validations, as well as University of Cape Town. In terms of business development and commercialization, we have a committee, steering committee. We have DTIC in the DBASA and IDC. And we believe this partnership is important for making sure that we have the necessary support in terms of the expertise, the market, the finances, the support financially, as well as the 3 entities. It is their space for industrial development. Development of antigens and antibodies. What are actually antigens and antibodies? These are active ingredients that are used in diagnostic tests, vaccines, and drugs. And Dr. Kasim is listening. He'll be happy for me to be more specific. He's a scientist. He doesn't want generalities. Antigens, you use them in vaccines as well as diagnostics. Antibodies, you use them in diagnostics as well as therapeutics or in drugs. So these are important. We'll be using them for COVID-19, but you can see that the applications are beyond just COVID-19 test kits. The antigen antibodies, currently we say we apply them to COVID-19. You can use them, for instance, in flu. We buy them. The capacity is in the USA, Europe, and China. Just to indicate the cost of buying antigens and antibodies. We bought 3 antigens and antibodies. We're talking about milliliters. We bought 1 milliliter of antigens and antibodies, 3 of them from 3 different suppliers. We paid close to $500,000. I'm talking about a milliliter, colleagues, very, very small. This is how expensive these ingredients are. Even the time for them to be delivered, we had to wait and wait and wait. So access to antigens and antibodies has significantly hampered the development of tests and vaccine for COVID-19. Mintek is developing capacity to produce locally. This is important. How it works: antibodies, they attach to the virus; antigen, they attach to the antibody. Okay, then you take antigens and antibodies, you attach them to whatever, it could be a virus, as a form of a diagnostic test or to fool the body into believing it is infected with COVID, so that the body can then produce its natural antibodies, basically the vaccine. This is how it works. Progress: we have managed to sequence 3 COVID-19 antibodies. 2 of these have been shown to be active, meaning potentially could be successful. We are busy now producing in sufficient quantities. Once testing and validation has been done, we will then produce in larger quantities. In terms of progress, we have produced, we are at September, October, we are looking towards validation, and we believe by November to December, we'll be scaling up production at the laboratory scale, and January to May 2021, we'll be scaling that up in a pilot facility, and around the end of May to be able to produce at scale. And these are the 2 products that we are referring to. In conclusion, we are on track in terms of production and supply of sanitizers. We have already started the process where we have identified even more products to be included in our suite of sanitizers. So the production facility actually will do more than just sanitizers, but it will be product that are supportive of the sanitizing environment. We will have the facility commissioned by first week of October, so we'll be ready to supply the market with larger quantities. Test kits, antibody tests are undergoing external clinical evaluation. Antigens, we are busy with evaluation internally, and within a month or so, they'll also be going out for external evaluation. Then in December, final approval and manufacturing is expected. Antigens and antibodies, we do have 2 suitable antibodies that have been identified and have been produced. We'll then take them for evaluation in the laboratory and proceed to clinical evaluation. To just wrap it up, these are very tight deadlines for us, but we believe that they will be able to meet these tight deadlines. We are busy even recruiting top experts to bolster our research team at Mintek. We have a few people who have already joined the team, and we expect a few more in the next month or 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Chairperson. That is our presentation in a nutshell. I just want to highlight a point that came in this presentation that says antigens and antibodies, they are currently a monopoly of China, USA, and Europe. And one is looking at this also in the context of Africa that is on the rise. It says that if we are to be a player of note, we need to take into consideration the importance of these antigens and antibodies here in South Africa. Thank you very much, Chair.
Hierarchy is too hard, so I can't. Minister,
thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. As I hand over to you, I want to highlight a few points. The first one is that as Mintek is busy, hello? Should I continue, Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. As Mintek is doing research, in the department, we get excited because we think that it forms the core of possibility of developing Kitlapil, which is integration. If we integrate Pelchem into Mintek, that gives us the biggest promise for the state pharmaceutical company that we've been talking about for years. We are allowing organic development and growth in this regard. And this is an opportunity that has been made obvious by the reality of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. We're hoping that we're not going to miss this opportunity. We'll accelerate our movement. As I said earlier, mass production, taking market share, and penetrating the market with the products produced at Mintek will make our life better. So I'm handing over to you, Chairperson. Thank you very much. It's quite an exciting area of work for us in the department.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and Babu Nkosana, and the dog there, Babu Mdo. The only problem, Babu Nkosana, maybe if it was me, it would have been much better. Because I know you, the difficulty is that you have multiplied the problem. Maybe Nomkwat is better by complexion. Now, it's so dark that it becomes worse when it is you. so many people want.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Salo. I'll try to change the positions.
Umqwathi mhlawumbe bezobonakala ngcono yabona okanye nomkwena or else ke mhlawumbe komthethwana kufanele bakuboleke i-red overall yabona so that uzobonakala kahle at least we can see on that one.
Who's lighter between, I don't know, Chair, who's lighter between him and Dr. Mtugu is when they're working together.
I don't want to ask
that crime.
Okay, honorable members, you know the queue on this one. Babu Mashaule, Babu Mailem, Mamu Shonyane, Mamu Malinga, Angambonang Babu Uzungola, Babu Malune Apology. Then it will be Babu Bilangulu, if he's present. Then it will be Ubabo Volmarans. I saw an apology from Honorable Phillips. I hope if he's not here. After Ubabo Volmarans, it will be Ubabo Mtenjane. Then after Ubabo Mtenjane, if Honorable Phillips, the apology was that he is leaving the meeting, just said they need to be excused. So if he's not around, we will then have Honorable Kona. Without pointing Honorable Malam immediately, up until Honorable Kula.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to the Honorable Minister, the DG, and other members of the team, and greetings to honorable members. I must say, Chair, it is always a pleasant experience to listen to Mintek ever since I joined Parliament. The things they present and the things they are doing, you get a fresh of breath when you listen to them, and there's really nothing much to say about where they should improve and all of that, except to plead that politically the minister unlocks the market within government entities themselves and other mining houses for them to do business with government and not be subjected to what you call quotations with other private companies when they are really, because when we talk about state capacity, this is exactly what we call capacitating the state. Now, if when another department must procure from them, has to compete with a company from China and all of that, it defeats the purpose of trying to really capacitate the state as an organ. So I'm just saying we are happy with the work they are doing. Just a push there and there for them to be viable in terms of the market, so that we capacitate the state completely. And I like the working relations that the minister has initiated with Pelcam, because also Pelcam is producing large volumes. And I hope that finding the market within the state itself should be the minister's priority moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, first of all, let me welcome the pivot by Mintek to new technologies and revenue streams, and I think it's something that we need to look at in all our state-owned entities as to where we can maximize the profitability, the cost effectiveness, and the utilization of all our resources to the benefit of our citizens. But Chairperson, pardon me, there are three things that stand out for me in this presentation. So the first question I have is, and let me use the sanitizers as an example. What is the cost of production of those sanitizers to Mintek per unit? What is the selling price of the sanitizers per unit? And how does that compare to the private sector producers of the same product? It's no good entering into something if it's going to be more expensive than you can buy it on the open market. Just a further point on the cost of production. Mintek indicated that they were buying equipment and installing a bottling plant and. Does the cost of production include those costs? In other words, are you factoring in all the costs, the capital costs, etc., that affect the pricing of your product? And that obviously applies to test kits and antigens and antibodies. And I particularly want to welcome the production of antigens and antibodies, because I think it's an exceptionally fine initiative that goes a long way to setting South Africa up as a leader on the African continent and indeed the world. But again, we need to get clarity on the costing to make sure that we are competitive. I am concerned around the production of sanitizers, about the scale of production. So according to the presentation, in total, across all product sizes, Mintek have produced 10,880 liters of sanitizer, and their production is about 1,050 liters per day. Now that would suggest that it's a little over 10 days production. So what have they been doing all the rest of the time? You know, this situation has been around since March, and I am concerned that we are taking a long time to get these processes in place and a long time to ramp up production to commercial levels. The same with the production of the test kits. I understand the length of time around the antigens and antibodies, but the production of the test kits, the timeline seemed very, very long. You indicated that really you'd only be able to reach commercial levels of production in mid-May 2021. Now, we're currently in August, so that's nearly a year down the line from here. By that time, this virus will be over and we'll be looking at the next virus. And I think that this is something that Mintek needs to investigate and look at quite closely, and that is their speed of response to situations like this. I think it's important that we move with speed in crisis situations, and I don't think that's evident yet. I'm not for a second saying that we should throw safety and security and other protocols, testing protocols, out the window, but I am saying that we need to look at how we can speed up production. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. We welcome the presentation, Chairperson. And first of all, I would like to congratulate Mintek on their ISO 485 certificate. It's showing progress from the last time when they were in our meeting, saying that they are awaiting the certificate of approval, and now they have it. So congratulations in that department. And then on slide 13, Chairperson, I just have a question. There is a storage place for bulk ethanol, and I can see that it is outside the proposed area of manufacturing. But what I did not see there was a proposed maybe fire station, because my understanding is that ethanol at 70% is very flammable. So I wanted to understand from the get-go, from the proposal stages, why am I not seeing the safety measures of a fire station next to where the storage area of ethanol is going to be? Now, Chair, they touched on the Media Research Council funding. I just wanted to know, is it possible for us to actually get the figures of how much the research, medical research funding, council funding is, and exactly what is it going to be used for? And then on slide 20, Chairperson, I know we're dealing with the COVID-19 at this particular moment, but you know, I have an understanding that we have a license to manufacture the HIV and the malaria test kits. I want to understand, are we manufacturing right now, or is it just a license if there's any manufacturing happening around that department? And lastly, Chair, I have a request since the scientists are in this meeting. You know, I've been doing research where I was looking at products that can be used to test the sanitizer, the quality of the sanitizer. And then I realized that in South Africa, we don't seem to have it. You know, COVID-19 is going to stay with us for a very long time, and meaning that sanitizers are going to stay with us for a very long time. And also meaning that chance takers are still going to be with us for a very long time who are selling low quality hand sanitizers. So I was hoping that the scientists, since they're in this meeting, maybe let's just think in advance and let's make sure that we bring or we manufacture those quality tests for our sanitizers, even for normal people, so that I'm able to test the sanitizer which I'm buying over the shelf if it's up to standard. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Malinga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to yourself, to the colleagues in the meeting, the Minister, the DG, and the leadership of Mintek, also our support staff chair, our table. Chairperson, let me also join in the queue of welcoming the presentation from Mintek and reiterate Honorable Mahlaule's statements that says, really Mintek gives out, it gives out a breath of fresh air. It's fascinating to listen to them. I never did science at school, Chair, because bengisabi mathematics. I wish I did, given what they just presented to us. Dr. Mtuku, you are really passionate. Chairperson, I saw on their slides that they are producing 308 liters of gel sanitizers. And the reasoning behind that, Chair, is that, no. They stated that those gel sanitizers are also good to use underground. Chairperson, we have mining houses in the country. I would love them to ramp up the production of gel sanitizers, especially for mining houses, because we know good underground, there are gases and everything else. Chairperson, let me also welcome this presentation in terms of combining Pelchem and Mintek. I think it is really going to do us justice to have a state pharmaceutical company, Chair. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Bengabonile, but I saw on the screen. Babu Zungoni.
Thank you, Chairperson. I thought you had forgotten about me. Firstly, I want to welcome the presentation from Mintek. It's a brilliant presentation, and I want to echo the words from the fellow honorable members about the progress they've made thus far. I've got basically two questions. The first one is, how come the same energy was not seen when the talks to beneficiate our minerals to commercial scale was made? The second one is, when will Mintek use its resources and perhaps with collaboration with the CSIR to scale up mineral beneficiation? Production of the PPEs is important, but we should not use it as a reason to delay the beneficiation of the minerals in our country. Only those two questions, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Bilankulu, any take? I guess is not here. Honorable Volmaran.
Thanks, Chair. I'm also joining my colleagues in welcoming the presentation by Mintek. I think up to so far from when we started interacting with Mintek and the promises that they have made, including the Honorable Minister in trying to restructure, in trying to get more cooperation between the entities. I think so far the Minister, the DG and the team, the CEO has done a good work. The cooperation between Mintek and Pelchem it's actually more than welcome because it breathes life into Ketapeli. And for a moment, I want to pause to look back at when we visited, we had a site visit at Pelkem in Pelendar. And a few days thereafter, you could feel that there has been some stress or some internal sabotage to make Retapila come to life. And on this note, I want to welcome that at least there is now life being breathed into Retapila through this collaboration. On the challenges that Mintek is saying with the manual production of the sanitizers, on the last point, there's a point that says restricted markets. I did not catch clearly what does that mean. And if it means that they have been restricted to get into markets, is that going to change, or what is going to be the case when they go to full production or automation in terms of this restricted market? What is being done around it? I did not get a clear understanding on that. But overall, the presentation is more than welcome, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone before I go to Honorable Mtenjan and Honorable Kola that I left? If there is none, Honorable Mtenjan.
Well, once again, thank you all very much, Chairperson. And also today, thank you to the Minister. He's here. We can see him. This is exactly what we want as this committee. Keep it up, Minister. You are doing the right thing. And then I come to the presentation by Mintek. As my colleague, Mr. Matlaule, the Honorable Matlaule said earlier on, it is always very good to listen to entities such as Mintek, because they are the entities that can show that indeed black people can also run companies. I'll put this thing straight here, because this is erasing the colonial setup that Africa or in Africa or South Africa, people cannot run their own stories. That is not correct. We have been saying this thing forever, that yes, we can. And Mintek, we give you thumb up. We say you are doing a very good thing. And many more other companies, state-owned companies in South Africa, I wish they can take an example from you. We say this thing, to us, it's in our cardinal pillar number 3. We are saying that the state must build its capacity to can produce or to can build companies such as state pharmaceutical companies, so that will minimize the cost for this country to go in Europe and other things like sanitizers. Imagine that. Now we are very happy for this entity, what is doing. And they can carry on. We know that we're going to take long, we're going to live long with the COVID-19. Yes, it's true. But also, we can't necessarily thank the COVID-19 because it's a disease, it's a pandemic. But it came as a wake-up call to this government, that finally they could see that indeed this government can do something also on its own. So it can support many more other states in Africa, as we're also calling for free trade and all those things. If you can check, Chairperson, this will never only help South Africa, but it will go as far as helping Africa itself. Because in other countries in Africa, we've got areas or countries that are strong with malaria, Ebola, HIV, and all those things. I know and we believe that Mintek, through our support, they are able to can produce testing kits for those kind of diseases going forward. So by doing this, they will be creating jobs, and also they will be helping many more other states or government in Africa as per se, and also growing our economy in the country. Yes, it's simple. Yes, it can be done. It's true. We can do it. Don't listen to the Europe. or to the Western countries when they say we can't do anything. I'm only worried, Chairperson, about this collaboration with this Ascendis Health. Ascendis Health. I'm not sure what this company, where is it coming from? If it's coming from Europe, I want to give an advice to Mintek to be careful about companies such as this one, because they might also steal their ideas to find that they change everything to make it look like it's their idea that South Africa must produce sanitizers and all those things. But having said so, Chairperson, thank you very much. We welcome the presentation. It's very good. It's a wake-up call. We hope many more other entities will learn from this one. Going forward, Minister, many more like both State, Diamond, and all those things, they can learn to build their own companies that can do their work, like cutting and polishing of diamonds and all those things. That is also creating jobs in South Africa. Yes, thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honorable Phillips has apologized and to be excused. And those one with kids at the background, please. Can you ask Uneni to take the kids to the bedroom? I know we've got small houses. We don't have those big houses where you can be like you are playing in a stadium. Honorable Kula?
No, ndiyakubulela Sihlalo, man. Let me indicate up front that I've missed the larger part of the presentation of Mintek due to inability, due to network challenges. Let me join my colleagues in the portfolio committee to welcome the report by Mintek and indicate my own personal happiness that I think Mintek is one of those entities that continues to be a flagship in terms of good governance. I only have one thing to say in terms of the report, like I've indicated that I've missed the larger part of it. My view is around their competition with some of the private sector entities. And I must indicate upfront that it is mischievous, or it is quite unfair for some amongst us to want Mintek to compete at the same level with other private entities that have been in business for quite some time. I think it's disingenuous that Mintek must be given the necessary space, the necessary support, so that it must be able to grow its market base. In future, it will be able not only to compete at the same level with some of the private entities, but even be able to usurp their market share. So my view is that we should continue to give the necessary support to entities such as Mintek, that they are able to do the work that they are doing and even more to ensure that we increase the state's share in terms of the market. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me give back to the minister and the team.
I want to give the team from Mintek an opportunity to respond to all the questions. I will come back at last, at the end of their response. Dr. Mkosana?
Thank you, Minister.
Yeah, now we'll see you.
You see me now. Thank you. Well, I'm going to just receive the accolades. Perhaps the place where I'm sitting, it goes with the benefits of receiving accolades. We welcome with humility that the work that we do is appreciated by the honorable MPs. I would like to just, before I ask the CEO to answer to some of the questions, there is reference here to, it's been raised by Honorable Ula, Honorable Mtenjane. In fact, a number of members, they have raised the issue of getting Mintek into speed and having the support of the government generally, starting from the minister, to champion that Mintek be allowed to service government and then other areas that could be our market, without throwing it to rough competition out there. I think that's a very important matter raised, which we would be very happy if it can be taken from the level of parliament, that entities like Mintek, which you get in countries like China, perhaps elsewhere, where they get the support of the state and you build the developmental state. I would like to ask that the CEO, in fact, let me just touch this small part. The partnership that we have working towards building a state-owned pharmaceutical company, that is the work that we are exactly busy with as we speak. We will be briefing at the portfolio committee at the right time. And this came, and we are, as we speak, pulling all the necessary resources moving forward in that regard. And the CEO is going to take from the first question, and also he has the team that is behind him. He will deploy accordingly. Dr. Matuku, I'll just ask you to take the next questions, please.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with compliments from Honorable Mahlaule. Thanks for the compliments we shall receive. Then to Honorable Mailem, you raised questions regarding cost of production, selling prices, whether we're competitive and whether we're factored in the cost of the manufacturing and the bottling plants in our costs, and the test kits that we're developing, the timelines seems to be too long. Let me start with the last one on the test kits. Actually, the test kits we anticipate to supply the market by December. It is the antigens that we will be able to supply the market towards the middle of next year. Let me start by saying we repurposed our activities to respond to COVID, meaning we were not ready in terms of procurement, supplies, everything that is required for somebody who's in the business. We started from scratch, and we started around the end of March, April. If you count that, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months, in our environment, I can bet you will never see such a response. This is quick, unheard of. And I need to compliment the team to responding quickly to a pandemic in a manner that Mintek did. It did not only require us to refocus some of our scientists and infrastructure, it actually required Mintek investing significantly in Mintek meeting these requirements for Mintek to respond to COVID-19. The biggest challenge for us has been the supplies, and everybody struggles with those supplies. You might take it for granted that the bottles were always available. We could not even get simple things like bottles. We could not even get the right screwing caps. Everybody scrambled for resources. We could not even get ethanol. We used to get ethanol at 25 liters quantities. That was not sufficient to supply the market. Petro SA came to our rescue. We just received this bulk supply recently. So it wasn't that Mintek was sitting idling, Honorable Milam. It's because we had to put those systems, processes in place since April. Now, in terms of cost competitiveness, with the manual operation, we're just comparable with the market, and we're not supplying large quantities. To be in this market is a market of volume, and the volumes we did not have. So with the current, that's why we're responding in a manner that we're responding by establishing a dedicated facility so that we can be price competitive. What is very clear to us, and I've indicated, the World Health Organization made it very clear, and all the scientists, that among the sanitizers that do work, alcohol-based sanitizers are the best when it comes to COVID-19. And it is not only producing the sanitizer, it's producing the right quality of sanitizers. And it is unfortunate that, yes, we might not in certain instances because people are not producing quality. And one honorable member indicated the quality of sanitizers. Who's monitoring them? You see a lot of things that pass as sanitizers, ethanol, alcohol-based, but we do know that they are not. So if we need to supply hospitals, we cannot be competing with those inferior products that we do know they exist. At Mintek, we chose specifically to do the right things and also to do things right. Our sanitizers, they meet all regulatory, all quality standards, and that comes as a price. And somebody, unfortunately, has to pay a price for that. It comes at a premium. And that's a market that we believe, if we need to really curb COVID-19, we need to provide the right products. There's no way of cutting corners when it comes to the life of our people. And that's what Mintek is producing. There's no, and unfortunately, when government procures, they compare us with those inferior products. If you want to know the actual cost of producing a quality product, you will not, it's 83 rand a liter. We do produce at those levels, so we're competitive. And with bulk purchase, we will even be more competitive. With automation, we'll even be more competitive. So that's not an issue for us. In terms of recovering the investment in the pilot plant, I've indicated it's not only the sanitizers that will be producing, we're going to be diversifying our product range. And we believe that within a year, actually 6 months in our calculations, that the cost of the manufacturing facility will be recovered. Honorable Klanyana, thanks for the congratulations on ISO certification. It took us about 3 years. And this speaks to the timelines that one has to think about when you're going to play in this space, the health space. It's a highly regulated space. A lot does not depend on us. We need to follow all the protocols, unfortunately. Actually, if I need to give an example of this, Mintek was almost ready 3 years ago with our HIV test kits. Because our facility was not certified, we could not supply to the Department of Health. We had to partner with a local company and a South Korean company to supply to the Department of Health. So Mintek now will be ready to make sure that we can actually directly supply to the Department of Health. That's the capacity that we have built, a state capacity in terms of making sure that the state has capacity to deliver at the apex of the state. Honorable Minister, we do listen to you all the time. We've built that capacity for the state. You spoke on the tanks to store sanitizers, Honorable Sonia. This is what is called a major hazardous installation. We followed all protocol. We did risk assessment. We interacted with the city and make sure that we have all the necessary permits. However, you do not need fire station. let me just allow our Chief Safety Health Champion and Mintek, Mr. Alan McKenzie, maybe just to talk to that aspect. Alan?
Thank you, Chair and honourable members. Yes, it's very important. Ethanol is highly flammable, and that was one of the reasons why we chose the location somewhat remote from our offices and our laboratories. And then we followed the protocols for the major hazardous installation. One of the things that helped us significantly is we used those ISO tanks that you saw in the picture. Those are inherently safe tanks, and they have safety systems built into them. So that made it simpler. Also, going for 2 tanks instead of one big one mitigates the risk because you have less, you only have 20,000 litres at a time. We do have normal firefighting equipment available in the vicinity, but we then interacted with the City Council on the major hazardous installation, and we went through the processes to ensure that we're compliant. I might add that it's not just the storage. Because you're producing sanitizers in the facility where there's a lot of alcohol about, even the production facility needs to have very good ventilation and other procedures in place to ensure that it can be operated safely and you minimize, in this case, the fire risk. So we followed all of those procedures. I might just add in some of the others, like the COVID material, there's significant health procedures in place there as well, because you're working with infectious diseases, and we followed all of those protocols also, and we have clean room facilities, biohazard facilities in place, which is what we repurposed, and that gave us a bit of an advantage over many other organizations that don't have those facilities that we could repurpose.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. The last question from Honorable Fanyana relates to the quality of the sanitizers. Actually, the quality issue also relates to test kits that have been imported. So on the test kits, we engage SAPRA. And because of our competencies and expertise, SAPRA indicated that they might utilize Mintek for test kits to test all the products or some of the products that will be able to test before they are passed in the country. So it's only on test kits. Sanitizers, unfortunately, we only produce quality sanitizers. Who will be checking the quality, I do not know. But in terms of testing, we have the expertise in terms of testing the content. We can do that. We do have other divisions that do provide analytical testing that we provide to the market. Is currently our competency. We can do that if required. Honorable Malinga, thanks for the compliment. The team actually is here. My being passionate, I'll say, is from the team, which is really passionate, and we invited them to join us so that they can also hear from the portfolio committee, from the minister, from the chairperson of the board, some of the sentiments and the direction that will be given. I must say thank you to the team who are in attendance today as well. Honorable Zungula, you spoke about beneficiation and collaboration with the CSR. We do collaborate with the CSR. Actually, what we are doing is serious beneficiation. The technology that we use for test kits is centered around gold. Is centered around gold nanoparticles. So Mintek over the years, for the past 15 years, developed the expertise to produce gold at a nanoscale, to manipulate some of its properties and to attach biological substance to them so that we can produce the test kit. So our test kits are gold-based test kits, which is a serious beneficiation, high-tech, high-end beneficiation. So Mintek are not deviating from our mandate. We are supporting our mandate when it comes to beneficiation. This presentation was specifically on sanitizers, test kits, but antigens, antibodies. But the whole program also on antigens and antibodies is to build local capacity to manufacture. And beneficiation, the anchor to beneficiation is having manufacturing capacity and capability. And that's what Mintek is doing. Honorable Volmarans, thanks for the compliments and also the working relationship with Pelton. You asked about the restricted market. If you need to really supply hospitals high quality sanitizers, there are a few things that you need to have in place. You need to be compliant to generally manufactured practices. You need SAPRA certification, which we cannot obtain because of the current infrastructure. Hence the dedicated facility so that we can unlock, we can supply to the market. It is the question of the current manual operation and infrastructure that will not allow us to really supply largely to the market quality products. It is that. It is not that we're restricted to supply the product. It is our infrastructure that is limiting us to really penetrate the market. Thanks. Honorable Ntenjani, thanks for the compliments. In terms of Ascendi's health is 100%